Well, welcome everybody. We are GFBS. We're Grand Forks' best source, giving Grand Forks an identity again on a dirty Thursday. Midwest Modified driver Jory Berg with us on the show today. We'll be talking to him here in just a couple of minutes. Show today brought to you by Do So Photography. What a perfect day to have him on the show. See him around racetracks all over the area. You know what? Seniors to be, not too late to get those senior pictures done. Still have times. He's still got openings, but you need to hurry because they're filling up fast. And he doesn't just do senior portraits either. You've seen some of the great pictures he takes at the racetracks, also family portraits, business headshots. You can have your own background of the picture. Pretty cool stuff. Corporate pics. Maybe you want to have pictures of your food, your products, etc. And Bob uses the good equipment too. Best lenses out there. If you want to look the best, Do So Photography could do that. Go to DoSoPhoto.com to find pricing and information, or call him up, 218-230-4325, and he'll come to you. That is Do So Photography. Well, time now for our daily segment, Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me, and our joke today is, why do Italian men grow mustaches? Why do Italian men grow mustaches? So they can look like their mother. We didn't get much of a rise out of anybody on that one.
You didn't have any mics up.
Well, sometimes I do that on purpose.
That was kind of insulting, actually.
Well, it was. I told you I was probably going to piss some people off with that one, but that's why I asked Jory here if he was Italian when he first walked in.
The mafia thing gave it away, I guess.
Yeah. Jory Berg, welcome to the show. First timer?
Yeah, first time. Pretty excited. A little nervous, so I got some water here, so hopefully I don't.
We'll be fine. And by the way, I want to show off. I've got the boxcar. I got the Jory Berg stuff, the hat, the shirt.
You need to switch the camera for people to see.
Oh, there. How's that? Yeah, there you go. And by the way, before we get started, if somebody wants any of this merchandise, what do they got to do to get it?
Get a hold of me or my partner, I guess, Cale Bergeron, or just hit us up on Facebook at Boxcar Brand. We've been doing everything through there. We got some Berg Racing stuff, BO boxcar stuff coming through, so air fresheners, all that sweet stuff. Right on, and thank you for the care package, by the way. Got some stickers, some air fresheners, got a hat to go in our racing hat collection up there, and this shirt, I'm going to wear it a lot. And by the way, if you have any questions for Jory, feel free to call us, 701-213-0863. Our number is 701-213-0863. Racing at Norman County Raceway tonight. The Buffalo Wild Wings NOSA Sprint cars are going to be there. River City Speedway tomorrow night. Got the, of course, the Buffalo Wild Wings Sprints, NLRA late models, Midwest mods. The A mods are going to be there along with the street stocks. Now, the A mod races tomorrow night, $1,000 to win. $600 for second, $450 for third, and thanks to Show Construction for kicking in some money on that. Devil's Lake Speedway Saturday night, Pure Stock, the home track Pure Stocks, Wissota Streets, Midwest Mods, Western Renegade non-wing sprints, and in Greenbush Saturday, last I heard, the Baker Cup, named after a good old friend of mine, Elliot Baker, last I heard, I think is canceled. If anybody out there knows different, go ahead and call us up. Jory Berg, tell us a little bit about yourself. Born and raised Grand Forks, 32. I got a daughter. Been in racing my entire life. My dad's raced for 30-plus years, mainly in Grand Forks, Hamilton, Hellock, all around the area. So fortunately for me, I was kind of born into it, just trying to make my way up the rankings a little bit. How
long have you been racing now?
I think my dad hurt his ankle in like late 2016, so I jumped in his car just to keep the sponsorship stuff, keep showing up for those guys. And then he had a backup car, and I guess he just decided he wanted to sacrifice some money and let me go wreck some stuff in 2017. So he sent me out there, and I think he was just running past me every night, but we're finally able to keep up. So since probably late 2016 until now, been in the Midwest Modifieds, and then I've just driven cars here and there, a mini sprint once, more than once, but tested one of those Legend Modifieds.
Yeah.
I got hooked up with that through Bobby Eckert. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Street stock one night, didn't do very good in that. Just little things here and there.
Years ago, I had a chance to, I thought about getting a Lightning Sprint or a mini sprint back then, and that's when Arctic Cat, when they still ran some snowmobile motors, and back then, Brian Sturgeon was just eating everybody up in those mini sprints. And
that's when Arctic Cat was first starting to mess around with their fuel-injected motors. And I know he would win and then change the motor because he'd pretty much destroy the motor every night. But how fun was it being in that lightning sprint?
The lightning sprint to me was like, it was just a really big go-kart, and I wasn't used to anything like that. So every time I went into a corner wide open, I thought I was going to tip over. Mm-hmm. And then I think I wrecked more stuff. So Brody Hutton actually owned the car. And I said this on the other show, too, and I think Brody was pretty happy when I was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to sit this one out, because I think we rebuilt the motor in the Walmart parking lot in Devil's Lake one time because I blew it up. And it was a snowmobile motor. I wrecked more stuff than I ever finished races.
So that's not the motor that's in the car he's selling now. I saw that he was just trying to get rid of a Lightning Sprint here. It must have been his old one because, now he's with the Western Renegades guys. So
yeah, and he hurt his back, and I tried talking to him into letting me run that thing. Well, I guess he learned his lesson.
The last races that we went to, I got to see those lightning sprints. Mm-hmm. Man, do those things pierce your ears.
Yeah, they do. They're a little bit of a different sound. And it's kind of funny because a lot of the old school race fans, they don't like the sound. It's not like it used to be, though, when they were running snowmobile motors. They didn't have everything together like they do now with the rules package. And there was all kinds of different motors and stuff. And but I liked it because I grew up around snowmobile racing, and so I loved that sound. I mean, I'd close my eyes, and to me, it was like I was at a nice oval race. So I kind of liked it, but the old school people didn't. But those lightning sprints, they do some pretty fast lap times once they're hooked up.
Yeah, they were pretty quick. Yeah, but I think I was running more in the back just because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just trying to stay out of everyone's way. But I mean, when you're running in the back, you see some pretty wicked crashes happening in front of you. So.
Speaking of wicked crashes, you ever had one of those?
Yeah, I've had a couple, more than I'd like to have.
Tell us about them.
I think this was like a couple years ago, and I actually took last year off of Devil's Lake, and I was like, the year before that, I went there 3 or 4 times and destroyed a car every time I went there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably one of the hardest hits. I got hit into the wall, then the steering broke, so I picked the throttle back up, thinking that I could steer it out of it. The steering was broke. It took a dart back for the wall again, and I caught like the edge of the cement where the dirt started, and I was still wide open because,
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, hang it
that's
in
what
there,
you do.
Right? Why lift? And it kind of just went to a dead stop, and it kind of turned the car, 90 degrees and shot it down 15 feet down the track, and I was like, holy cow. You really tested out the belts and the submarine belt, so I was kind of...
Yeah, get a little sore spot there from the belts.
Yeah, I was a little sore in the peaches area there for a little bit. I mean, it was like, and then the next day I was at work and I was kind of walking around and I'm like, oh man, I don't feel good. And it was just kind of maybe a little concussed.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Yeah, I probably should have took the day off, but I don't pay the bills.
No, it doesn't. You've had fairly good luck up at Devil's Lake though recently.
Yeah, I decided. Let me rephrase that. My dad decided that we were going to go back to Devil's Lake, and he's like, we need to get this figured out. This is like your kryptonite, you gotta figure out what's going on. You gotta figure out why you can't even finish a race here. And of course, first night out, we don't finish a race. And I'm like, we're never coming back. I don't like it here. And he's like, you need to nut up and let's go. He goes, you gotta get back there. And I think like the next 3 nights we did pretty good. And then like the 4th night, I think we won there. So finally got that monkey off my back. And Nolan and Heather have been doing an awesome job up there. The track has been it's the best track I've raced on all year.
Yep.
Even though I love racing Grand Forks, but I also like to get the car on the high side and just let it eat. Mm-hmm. Where Devil's Lake, you've been able to do that. Grand Forks with the new configuration, I don't know if it's just taking time for that high line to come in, but it seems like Dustin got it to work. I just can't.
Yeah, and I've been lucky enough to call a couple of races at Devil's Lake, and the the Midwest Modified races. The 2 that I've called this year have been just spectacular racing. You don't know who's going to win until they come out of turn 4 in that last lap. So they do. Heather and Nolan do a great job up there. Tell us a little bit about the race car you drive. Tell us about your hot rod.
It's a 2012 Millennium chassis. I switched to that late last year after wrecking 2 cars. And when you destroy your dad's car and he wants it back because he just too rough on it, I had to get another one. But my dad builds my motors with Corky Thomas, so, I mean, those things are just, we're keeping up with guys that are out there buying them, and my dad's at home building them with his buddy, Other than that, it's just whatever we put in it, it goes to Dustin. We're like, hey, what do we need to do? What do we need to change? What are you noticing that we're not noticing? So it's nice to have that with Millennium Chassis and Dustin Strand to kind of bounce back the information. So it's pretty cool.
Corky Thomas, that's an old name in racing. And that guy's been around forever.
Yeah, and he's a good dude, too. And
yeah.
his kid Joseph has been really fast lately. I think he's won maybe 1 or 2 this year or something like that. But, I mean, hopefully he'll be up here on Friday, and then we get to watch that.
Yeah. I want to know, and I don't know the story about this. I look at you, and I get an idea, but tell us about the Mustache Mafia. With a little chuckle.
The Mustache Mafia kind of came about as a joke. Just, I think the Sprint Cars had their Minnesota Mafia, and Zach Doctor had like Mullet Nation, and I was like, you know what? I like having a mustache, so why not start the Mustache Mafia and see if anyone thinks it's just funny.
I'm not kidding you, man. You got like the whole porn mustache thing going on here. It looks pretty. We almost need some like chicka chicka mow mow music in the background there.
I can get some.
Yeah, send it. Let's go. But my buddies joke around. They call me Jory Jeremy. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ron. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the Boxcar brand. What's that all about?
Boxcar is just. It's an apparel company. We make hats, shirts, air fresheners, stuff that we're just trying to have fun with it. Just trying to get back to the sport of racing. We've sponsored hard chargers, bicycle giveaway in Devil's Lake for the kids with Cody Armstrong installation. They helped us with that. Actually, it was Cody's idea, and we just got to tag along with it, which was pretty cool. So what we're trying to do is just sell this apparel. All the money that we get goes into more apparel, and then we try to give it back to the racing community.
Sure.
Whether it be fans, racers, promoters, a race itself. Our main goal is to eventually have enough money to where we can give back to the youth, like the kids, not necessarily just in the go-karts and stuff, but the ones that are in the stands. We want to have, maybe one day have a bus where the kids can get on at the grandstands, and we take them through the pits and show them behind the scenes, and then maybe get them in the infield, inside the bus, and let them watch a race from the infield, get a different perspective. Because, the kids are the future of the sport, which sounds super cheesy, but
it's the truth.
It's just the bottom line. Like, without those kids buying a ticket every night when they get older, we're going to have nothing to do.
Right. And it's guys like you, Mahar, Schill, a lot of these guys kicking in extra money to try to get, and that's important. Not only to the race car drivers to maybe win a little extra money, but to do things like you guys are talking about. Yeah. And speaking of ticket giveaways, by the way, why don't you send us an email, local@gfbestsource.com, local@gfbestsource.com. Tell us why you really want to win a pair of tickets for tomorrow night's races at the River City Speedway. And we're going to pick a winner here. It'll be early today, and we will reach out to you. You'll be able to pick those tickets up at about 5:45-ish at Will Call tomorrow. You might have to wait around for a couple of minutes. But again, if you want to email us, local@gfbestsource.com, tell us why you think you deserve a pair of tickets for tomorrow night's show at the River City Speedway, and you will be a winner. Speaking of winners,
I was going to say, if you don't have access to email, you could also text us at 701-213-0863.
Yeah, 701-213-0863 if you want to text us too. You've been doing this for really not that long when it comes to dirt track racing. Biggest win?
Probably my first one. The one at River City is where the thing just...
Yeah, the one I missed out on.
Yeah. It completely blew apart. I think we're 3 laps in, and then I broke the transmission. And then I think like the 5th or 6th restart on lap 3 was the motor went, and I ran, I think, like 10 laps with my dad just like waving me off the track, trying to get me to like shut it down. And I remember saying in my head, I'm like, I haven't seen anyone's nose for a really long time, so it can't be that bad. And then we ended up, winning it, but it was shutting off. And then after the checkered flag, it shut off, and I couldn't even drive it into victory lane. I want to be like donuts or something cool, But,
take the lap with the checkered flag.
Yeah, all I got to do is like be pushed into victory lane and just be smoking and just a big mess. But,
it's so hard to win at River City Speedway. There are a lot of good Midwest modified race car drivers and cars. How can you beat these guys with a car that's basically broke? A lot of luck.
Yeah, I guess I just put it to the floor and then kind of tucked my foot behind the other one. I was like, don't touch the brakes, don't let off the throttle. if she blows, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
And my dad's going to be really mad if we don't win it, so we better win it. So I think it was like one of the closest finishes they've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I was sitting up in like turn 2, broken, smoking, the car shut off, it's not running. I'm like, oh man, I don't think we won. And then they said it, and I got super excited, so then I started trying to drive the car and forgot that it was broken.
Yeah.
And then I had a flat tire at that time. So, I mean, the car was just a complete, like, it belonged at Weekly's.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I mean, it looked like something that you just throw away.
So at the end of the night, I'm sure Dad was happy.
Yeah.
But how long did that last?
Till the next morning. Yeah. I mean, we got it home, and we fired it up, and then we were putting water in the radiator. And he's like, oh, it's just low on water, it burnt the water out. I think we put like 2 gallons in, and it just kept going out the exhaust. And then he just completely blew up. He's like, we're done racing for the weekend. I can't believe you did this. And then Sunday, he's like, yeah, cool, we won, like we did it. I was like, yeah, don't be mad anymore.
The emotions you get as a race car driver, a car owner, boy, you got the highs of the high and the lows of the low. You go from winning to having to rebuild. But that's just kind of the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to teach you a lot of lessons in life. I mean, you're going to learn to take your victories with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to take it.
Enjoy them while you can.
Yeah. But at the same time, you better humble yourself out real fast, because the next week's going to come and you could be a 20th place car.
Right. And you made mention of that when you first started. You wadded up a few cars early in your career.
Yeah, way more than my fair share.
Yeah, way more than your fair share. Now, but then again, now your dad's been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
How many cars do you think he's wrecked?
Well, I hate to say that.
You going to throw him under the bus?
Well, yeah. He might be 60-some years old, but he can still beat me up.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I know for sure he's destroyed at least 3.
Oh, that's not so bad. You've done that in a year.
Yeah, I did. You're right. I mean, I don't think he blew 3 motors up in one year the year prior, but...
Mm-hmm. Now, usually when a motor breaks, is it driver error, or usually it's a malfunction or a bad part, or I know sometimes it could be the cheapest part on the race car that fails, and it turns into a very expensive thing.
It depends on who you ask. If you ask me, it's probably a malfunction. If you ask my dad, it's a driver malfunction.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of the times what happens is we have a really good maintenance program where we change oil every 4 to 6 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing a full service on the car. I think what it is sometimes you have a rough track and it kind of rattles some stuff loose, and then the next week you might miss something. If you're having like huge motor failures, usually it's some kind of part that you're putting in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really your maintenance program.
And if you want to be good, if you want to always be up fighting for that chance to win, that's something you have to do. I mean, let's face it, we all see the guys that they race it, they park it, they pull it out again Friday, they race it, they park it. You're not going to get to victory lane too many times doing that.
No, I mean, there would be a time where some guys will show up and it's like, holy cow, have they ever even worked on this thing? And then they go out there and they make us look like idiots.
Yeah.
And then you got my dad who, he's been in the military for 42 years, so everything is super meticulous about how he does stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this thing has to be completely shined up. I mean, he does everything top notch from the moment the car gets home to when we unload it at the track. So my dad gives me the best opportunity I have to win every night. A lot of the times it's driver error or, some type of equipment failure or something like that. But
What do they call that? A short between the steering wheel and the seat?
Yeah, a couple loose nuts.
Your dad in the military. I guess I didn't know that. Tell us a little bit about your dad.
Well, he's a hell of a dude, that's for sure. He's probably one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome to have him as his dad, but he was in the military. I think he joined at 18. He retired at 60. They kind of were like, yo, you've been here too long.
You've been here way too long, dude.
You should probably go. But
yeah, was he Air Force or what?
I think he originally enlisted as a Marine.
Okay.
Then he went Army, I believe, and then National Guard is where he retired. He
okay.
was Chief Warrant Officer 3 in the National Guard, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, the military is like a second family to me. All those guys
sure.
at the shop, they're like, pretty much brothers. So
yeah.
They're kind of there raising me as a kid too. But he did that for quite a bit. And now he's actually back in his shop that he used to manage, working as, I think he works on like Avenger missile systems or something like that.
Okay.
Part-time, he calls it, which is 25 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's still working.
And it sounds like he loves it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You tell him, like, hey, do you ever want to slow down? He's like, no, race cars and work. He goes, what else is there?
Yeah, so he's one of those guys that likes to tinker a lot, I take it?
Yeah. He's got a bunch of old pickups, and he says that if I ever quit wrecking stuff, he might actually get a chance to work on it. So there's that.
Are you the same kind of guy as your dad? Meticulous, always working on something? Or I know it's a little bit difficult when you got a young kid.
No, absolutely not. If you ask anyone that knows me, I'm all over the place, 24/7. I mean, I don't have any concept of time or anything. I hate being late, but I mean, it's going to go on my own schedule when I show up on time. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm just all over the place, and my daughter's the same way, and I think it drives my dad nuts. It definitely drives my girlfriend nuts, and all my buddies. They're probably like, "Holy cow, could this kid just ever slow down and just hang out?" But
it's got to be kind of tough with what you do for a living. I know you are basically on call every day.
Yeah.
And how does that interfere with racing, or has it not been too bad?
Well, last year I got kind of lucky where I could hold like a Thursday, Friday off. So I raced Thursdays in Ada and Friday in Grand Forks. And then every once in a while on Saturdays, we try to go to like Jamestown if I didn't have to work or something. But this year, like I was telling you a couple weeks ago, I was sitting at the track getting ready to unload, and my phone rang, and I had to be going to work. And then just kind of was like, well, hopefully it's going to rain, but it never did.
Yeah, that's got to be a bummer, not only for yourself, but I'm guessing for the guys that help you out too. Who helps you out with your setup here in your car?
Well, I mean, the first person is my dad, of course. He does pretty much everything on it. He does a lot of the maintenance. I help, when I have time, and my daughter's there running around stuff too. But my buddy Justin Haig and Matt Biergo, they're doing tires Saturday morning. They're washing the car with me. They're doing everything. My buddy Kale with Boxcar, we're doing all that stuff. He's there helping when he can. I mean, he's got some young kids too. So, he doesn't get to make it out, I think, as much as he wants to. My girlfriend's there running around. She's always on the lineups for me. Hey, you're starting here. You got to be careful here. She knows, what I look for. So when she shows me a lineup or something like that, then it's like, she has her input on it, which actually helps to have an input coming from every direction. And then, I got my sister and her boyfriend, they just had a baby, so they don't really get out much because of the COVID stuff.
Sure.
And, but they watch from home, and my niece and stuff, and they're all cheering me on. So,
again, if you want to win a pair of tickets to the River City Speedway for tomorrow night, you can either shoot us, it's got a text back from Hennessy, but shoot us an email if you want to. That's local@gfbestsource.com, or you can text us too. Tell us why you want to win this pair of tickets, and we'll hook you up with a pair. 701-213-0863. As we talk about who helps you, Jory, on the car, why don't you talk about your sponsors too?
Okay, sponsors, I got Sean Horn and Chris Horn. So my thing with my sponsors is if these guys support our sport, please go out and support them. If you're looking for a house, contact Sean and Chris Horn. Lithia Ford of Grand Forks, if you guys are looking for a vehicle, please go see them. Tell them I sent you. They're good dudes. Vanilla Cycles, if you're looking for a pretty sweet, Harley, get a hold of them. Guys like that, Shocks by CTR, which is Corky Thomas. CT Engines, which is my dad and Corky building engines. Those guys, Fubby Chuckers, which is my graphics guy, that's Tony Obregon. It's without those guys, I wouldn't be able to do the stuff that I can do. So without their support and without, somebody out there supporting their business, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And then, of course, with Boxcar, everything that you buy, obviously it's going to push us to do more of it, but it also motivates us to have more fun in the racing world and try to share it with you guys,
I used to help a guy on an A-mod years back and learned a lot, but he was one of those guys that didn't want any sponsorship on his car because then he had to be responsible to be at the racetrack. How much does that play into the fact that you need to race? Because you got to keep your sponsors happy. They're kicking in the money, helping you out. How does that really weigh on you? If you wreck a car, you blow up a car, do you worry about your sponsorship and saying, I got to get this car back out there, not just for me, but for the people that are painted all over the car?
Yeah, for sure. You definitely want to be out there running your best, having the car looking your best. These people pay good money to be on there, and they want to support you and what you're doing. So if I wreck a car, I'm going to do everything I can to get that thing back together the next week. And if I can't make it, I'm the first guy that's going to call you up and be like, hey, sorry, this is what happened. Maybe you have to sit out a week or two, just to get everything right. I apologize. I hope everything's okay, as far as your end. But we're going to do everything on our end to get back out there and get in victory lane for you.
We talk to many different business owners every day, and there's certain things this year that I have been looking for that I needed and couldn't get because, well, either they were made in China or whatever, and the COVID thing. But is it the same thing, waiting for any race car parts? Has there been any, examples of this year where you had to wait on something because you just can't get it that quick anymore? Or isn't it that really that way with race car parts?
Well, luckily for me, I try to do everything through Dustin Strand and Millennium Chassis, just because he's been such a good help since the moment I bought the car to, even up to, I guess, a couple of days ago when I was over there last. He's done everything that I've asked him to do, and he's even given me more input. So, as far as getting anything, I kind of leave it up to Dustin, and he just seems to hit a home run every time.
Yep.
So.
Guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he builds a badass race car, too.
Yeah, they're bad fast. And I tell you what, when we made the switch to it, it was like going home, it just right off the bat, like I told you earlier, we jumped in it. First night in the Millennium Chassis, had no clue how anything worked in it and how the car even moved. Go out there and finish fourth behind like Matt Shaw and Lance Schill and guys like that, which was like super impressive company. And Austin Hunter was right there too. To do that, jump in a car and know that, Dustin sold me a car and had me dialed in from night number one.
Yeah.
Is what more can a guy ask for,
Well, I remember a story from, I think it was last year. Tucker Peterson in his street stock was having issues. And Joey had called Dustin and said, hey, can we get this thing on your scale? Can you take a look at it? Long story short, Tucker won that night or the next night at River City Speedway. So, yeah, and I would imagine Dustin will be in that A-Mod this Friday night, tomorrow night, I would imagine.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit, and it's kind of funny. So when I had to go to work or whatever, we tried talking him into running my B-Mod. He's like, well, it's like 105 heat index. It's way too much to deal with, which I don't blame him because I didn't really want to get in the car either. So as far as I know, yeah, he plans on running the A-Mod this weekend and next weekend in Grand Forks with the late model. So, wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he can go out there. And if I can't win in my Millennium, maybe he can win in his, hopefully.
There's a few drivers that do double duty a lot. And when we had that heat we had a couple weeks back, how hard is that on a guy?
Luckily for me, I got this thing called the fresh air kit that blows cold air on top of my helmet. So for me, it doesn't affect me as much as some other guys. I'm definitely out of shape, so, it's going to take its toll on me. But, with that, I don't really know how I would have dealt with it because I'm kind of a couch potato as of lately.
Yeah.
I don't really work out much anymore. I'm more of like a cheeseburger and french fries kind of guy right now. So for me to do that, I probably would have sweated out a whole potato by the time it was all said and done.
Yeah. Do those things work when the car is idling if you're waiting to get out on the track, or do you have to get moving to get that air flowing through there?
There's a switch in the car. I just turn it on and it starts blowing cold air right away. But you don't get while you're sitting in staging, you don't get any airflow in the car. So in the cockpit, down by your legs and stuff, gets super hot because your exhaust is running right next to you too. So as soon as you get out on the track, you flip the visor up and you got your hand up, hanging out the window. So I know a lot of people make comments like, why do you drive around the track with your hand out the window? I'm like, because I'm fat and I get hot.
Yeah. How does it get the cool air in there? How does it keep it cool?
Basically, you just get enough airflow going over, and I think once the adrenaline starts, when you hit the green flag, you don't really notice it as much anymore. So by the time it's all said and done, and you're pulling off, and you're sitting on the scales, you're like, I got to get out of this thing. It's like 300 degrees in here. It's like sitting in an oven.
Yeah.
But once you're going and the adrenaline's going, then you don't really notice it.
You plan on having as long of a career as your old man?
Well, hopefully, if I keep up what I'm doing this year compared to the last couple of years, I think we'll make it a little bit longer. But if I have, 5-6 years like my first few, then I'll probably be out of money before it's all said and done.
Yeah. You plan on running the Midwest Mod for the rest of your career? Have you ever thought about maybe making a jump into a different class?
We kind of joked around about a late model a little bit, but, I think those guys have it pretty well figured out where I think I should stick to the B-Mod for a little while.
Yeah.
I do like it. I got great friends in the B-Mod. Nate Reynolds, one of my best friends growing up, Nate Rossica, we park next to him every week. And, it's like we race go-karts together and hung out every day. So I get to hang out with my buddies every day and have a good time. There's really no animosity jumping back and forth between the B-Mod guys. We all get along really well. Yeah, we might run into each other. Like we had an incident Friday night where, we kind of had an accident, spun out. I maybe got a little heated and kind of had some words with another guy on the track, which Chad Hoff was kind of looking at me like, I probably shouldn't talk to Jory today, But, I apologized, and then the guy that I had the incident with, where I whatever, it was a racing deal, he eventually, texted me the next day and was like, hey, sorry. So, we have a really good networking community in the B-Mod division. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really hard to leave that because, it seems like you can walk into any other guy's pit and be like, hey, I need this. And they're like, oh, yeah, for sure. Get me another one next week.
It's like the whole racing fraternity is kind of like that. No matter what class you're in, they all help each other out until you start beating them. Then they might not help so much. And I'm glad you brought up Chad Hoff. The other half of the Bull Ring boys, not in the studio today. Chad, we wish him the best of luck. He had surgery this week. Some kind of a reduction surgery or something. I'm not quite sure.
Breast reduction?
I don't know, something I guess got reduced. But we wish you the best of luck, Chad, and I'm sure he's going to be texting you here any minute now. Again, speaking of text, if you want to text us, 701-213-0863, or shoot us an email, local@gfbestsource.com. Tell us why you think you deserve a pair of tickets to the River City Speedway tomorrow night, and we will let you know if you win that pair of tickets, and they'll be waiting for you at will call. Do you have any hobbies? What do you do when you're not working or not working on your race car?
During the summer, that's pretty much what mainly my focus is the race car and stuff, and hanging out with my daughter. I play volleyball, sand volleyball with some of my friends.
Oh, sure.
Our season was ended yesterday. We're not very good. We won one thanks to a forfeit. So I'm super athletic. So I'm built for sitting in a chair and behind the wheel, but. We do stuff like that. Me and the girlfriend, we spend a lot of time riding bike.
Okay.
Other than that, during the summer, we pretty much focus on that. And then during the winter, it's like, chase the daughter around at hockey. And,
she's a hockey player.
Yeah.
Love to hear that.
Yeah, she's the toughest 6-year-old you'll ever meet.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
She's pretty rough. We call her Pigpen because she's always dirty. But
yeah, hockey and racing, my two favorite things, by the way. When you talk about you spend a lot of time riding bike, are you talking about the pedal kind or the kind with a motor?
Yeah, I wish it was the kind with the motor.
Okay.
Yeah. I ride pedal bike because obviously I need the workout, but no, we just ride bike. If I could afford a Harley, then that would be nice. I know I've talked about it a couple of times, but with what we do with racing and stuff, that's where my money is really focused.
Yeah, and it's hard to find the time. Like me, I keep thinking I have a motorcycle, but I keep thinking I'd love to have a Harley, but then I like spending time on my boat too. Yeah. And it just, our summers are so short around here. It seems like you start to get the itch to ride, and it's already the end of August. And I've taken my bike out once this year, and that was it. And that was last weekend, and it was a fun little ride too.
Well, Amanda said you should get a winged car.
Oh, jeez. She's always on that. She's always on that. Hey, Amanda, bring me a wing, and I'll bolt one on the B-Mod, and that's probably as close as I'm going to get.
Be like those old wedge-looking late models that they used to run. That'd be pretty cool.
Run what you brung class, We'll put some wings on it, and then we'll look real cool.
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout-out to the River City Speedway. They're actually going to sponsor myself and my partner in me and Ken Hollins. We're going to be at the Drayton Rod and Reel Rally Catfish Tournament this weekend. And, watch out for the River City's Hookers. River City Hookers, that's what we're going to be called, and that's what I was told we're going to be called, and we're going to go with it. If they're going to pay my entry fee and give me a couple of shirts, you can call us whatever you want, but be watching if you're up in Drayton. They got the big street dance going on. They got a catfish feed, but watch for the River City's Hookers, and we're going to be there. Hopefully, we will show River City Speedway that we do know how to fish. We'll see. You're going to be gone this weekend.
Yep, taking the weekend off. My buddy Bree and Googs, they're getting married this weekend. So, they had it planned originally for, I think, that first Outlaw event.
Oh, sure.
Which it was pretty cool that they planned it around that. But with the COVID stuff, they had to move it. So we're here in August and probably leave tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Take the weekend off and regroup.
How has COVID affected you this year? Have you noticed any big difference? Or, a lot of people did. Everybody had to change things for a while there, but has it affected you, Jory Berg?
Just where I shop. I mean,
Yeah.
I tried to go to Target the other day, and the dude at the door is like, "You need to wear a mask," and I was like, I don't wanna.
Yeah.
So then I just went over to Walmart and walked right in.
Yeah. In fact, okay. You don't have to wear a mask, but anyway, I was going to show you something there. So any big shows coming up for you that you really are on your calendar right now that you have to make?
The Sites Memorial is one that I always want to make. Actually, last year was the first time I made it into the A main, and we obviously had that big pile up on the front straightaway. So I'd really like to finish one this year.
The John Sites, 3 days of racing. I can't remember. Did the B-Mods run all 3 nights?
We run all 3 nights. So we have a full show Thursday night, and then we run heat races with passing points on Friday night, and then I believe it's B mains and A mains on Saturday.
How hard is it to get ready for 3 days of back-to-back-to-back racing? Because I know me being an announcer, I was dead by Sunday. I mean, I was just whooped, but I was also doing my other job at the same time. And I remember I was so tired. Sunday show starts early, or Saturday show starts early. Yeah, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. The Saturday show starts earlier, and we had gotten out of there at really late Friday night. I went right home, got up in the morning, and I had to do a live remote from a radio station I used to work at. And I went home and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a half-hour nap. And I thought, if I do that, I'm not going to get up. So I went and watched go-kart racing for about 3 hours before the Saturday show kicked off. But John Sites Memorial, man, that is one of the highlights of the year here at River City Speedway, no doubt.
Yeah, that's my favorite race of the year has always been the John Sites Memorial, whether I think it was like the Harvest 100 or something like that before. But it's always been the one that I've wanted to participate in and have a part in, because I remember John racing with my dad, whether it was super stocks or late models or whatever it was. I remember that, and I remember having a lot of respect for guys like that. And Brad saying, growing up at the track, obviously because my dad was there for 30 years, I got to watch like Mike Balkin and got really spoiled in the sprint car world with Pat Miller and Brad Payne and all those guys,
Brad Payne, that old Articat car, remember that?
Yeah, I remember when we were kids, we used to run down there and be like, hey, good job. And then he'd like give someone his trophy because he had so many of them.
Yep.
He's like, I don't have anywhere to put it. Here, kid, have it. And I was like, whoa, that's sweet.
Yeah, kind of like a Mark Dobmeyer thing.
Yeah.
Loves to give away those trophies because he doesn't have any room for any other ones.
Yeah, he just eventually run out of storage, I guess.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, guys racing, when I asked you about how long you thought maybe you'd go, it's amazing when you start talking about some of these names from way back in the day that are still racing. You threw out Brad Sang, you got Tom Corcoran, and there are guys that have retired now that Galdard well could still be just hammered around that racetrack.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that even just like you see, I think we ran into, was it Mike Johnson the other day?
Great guy. Yeah.
And I think we're at like some show or something like that. And we ran into him and my dad just started talking, and I just remember like, holy cow, this guy used to be one of the fastest guys around.
Yep.
And things like that, as far as being like a little kid and growing up around it, you're always like, well, I'm going to be, Brad Pake when I get older, something like that. Or like, I'm going to be the next Troy Olson or Mitch Johnson. You always looked up to guys like that were just out there. I mean, they just take a whole season and go on a tear.
Yeah. Could you imagine winning races in 6 decades?
Tom Corcoran has been one of those guys that's always been on my radar, even from when I was a little kid. I always liked that T1 car. And it's just fun to watch him out there just still doing it, loving it, just like my dad.
And he's had a good couple of seasons here.
Yeah, he's really piecing it together, that's for sure. I mean, you sit there and you're like, hey, eventually he's going to slow down, but he's just never really slowed down.
Yeah, and if you didn't know him, you say, well, the guy's won in 6 decades, so they're thinking to themselves, this guy has got to be almost in a wheelchair. He must look like he's 90. Guy still looks like he's 40.
Yeah, and he's one of the smoothest guys out there, too.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like banging his stuff up. So if he's going to lean on somebody for, a win or anything like that, he's going to go out there and he's going to use his brakes and he's going to use that throttle, but you can guarantee he's going to the front either way.
Okay, I don't want any names mentioned if you don't want to, but has there ever been that one or two guys, they're either, okay, you're going to start this race, they're lined up right behind me or right beside me or right in front of me. Is there any of those guys that you think about, and again, you don't have to name them, that you think, oh, crap, I got to worry about this guy now.
Yeah, there's guys like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, you got to give them the respect because they earn the right to be there as much as you have.
Right,
you know?
right.
Whether it's they've been racing for 20, 30 years, and they're kind of, maybe us kids are just catching up with them or whatever, or we're getting faster, but he earned that right to be there as much as I did.
Okay.
And maybe some guys look at me like, hey, he's so new, maybe he didn't earn the right to be there. There might be guys that don't like me running up front, or, they don't think that I should. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to wreck someone because whether I'm faster than them or if they're in my way or something like that, which I hope nobody ever does to me either because it sucks doing body work.
Yeah.
For my dad.
So, okay. So question for you. You're faster than the guy in front of you. Say you're down to 2 laps to go. You can't get around him. He's making the car as wide as he can. You bump him out of the way, or do you just take a second place?
Take a second place. A lot of times it just ain't worth it. I mean, when I first started, I was fighting for top 10s.
Yep. Yep.
And the guys that are in the top 10, there's a reason they're in the top 10 every week.
Right.
Because they're just on top of their game, whether it's at the shop or at the track or a combination of both. But, if you go out there with the mentality that you need to run somebody over to get a win or something like that, more or less, you're going to get the shorter end of that stick. Because when they spin out, they got to go somewhere.
Right.
And you're either going to have to drive through them, or the next time you're out, they're going to drive through you.
Yep. Are there guys out there that have no problem driving through you and they don't care because maybe they have an unlimited budget or something like that? Doesn't matter to them if they tear up their equipment, they can afford to fix it. Are there any of those guys you worry about? And again, no names if you don't want to.
No, not really. I feel like everyone out there in the B-Mod division has enough respect for each other to, it's give an inch, take an inch, or take an inch and give an inch. Whatever you're going to do, however you're going to look at it, I don't feel like anyone out there is like, oh, I'm just going to run this guy over because I can afford it.
Right.
Nobody likes wrecking their stuff, but, I mean, there's times where we're all too aggressive, and there's times where we're all super passive, depending on where it is or what the situation is. I know at like the beginning of the year, we're kind of locked down to one lane. So it was, fight for it. Fight for that lane. Well, everyone had to do it. We all did it. It was just a game.
It's the same for everybody.
Yep.
How cool is it at the end of the night when you're in the pits and the kids come up, want the pictures, want the autographs, want to sit in your car? That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Favorite part.
Yeah.
Best part of it, you feel like a celebrity. You feel like the coolest guy in the world. And kids come there, they get pictures. I got candy in my trailer for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
I like to sugar the kids up and send them home with mom and dad because
Here, you want a can of Coke with that too?
Yeah. They're like, oh, you want a Red Bull? Here you go. Have fun.
And most of the race car drivers that we talk to, in fact, I think all of them that have been on the show this year, they all say that's probably their favorite part at the end of the night. When you can wind down, the kids come in, their parents, and you look at the looks on these kids' face, and like you said, they're our future. And how many of these kids you think, maybe next year they'll be in a go-kart, and before that they might be in a Wissota Midwest Modified before you know it?
Well, that's at the end of the day, that's the goal. If you have those kids having a good time from the minute they show up to the track to when they come down and see you, to when they leave the track and they take your driver card home, and they're like, one day I want to be at this part where I'm having a picture like this and signing it for kids. That's what I was like when I was a kid. I guarantee every week, every driver was sick of seeing me. Because every week I'd go through there and I'd still get a card from everybody.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, well, you have like 10. And I'd be like, yeah, but I need 12.
Yeah.
Why don't you just give me one for next week, too?
Yeah, and I look at it a little bit differently than you guys do on a Friday night or a Saturday night or a Thursday night. It's all about the show. It's all about having a good show, putting a good product out there. And we're pretty lucky because we have got some really good race car drivers around here in all classes.
Yeah, I've said this from when I first started is you have 4 classes and you have at least 10 guys in every class that can win. I mean, even if there's a guy that you're kind of on the fence about, he's going to go out there one night and he's going to show you like, hey, you deserve to be here. In Grand Forks, if you win in Grand Forks, you earned it. There's nothing that's ever given to you in Grand Forks. It's hammer down. It's fast. It slicks off. It takes a heavy motor and a heavy right foot. Or some nights it takes the biggest finesse.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to be on top of your game on that dry slick stuff. And there's guys that you would just be like, oh, they don't have a shot. And they go out there and they just completely dominate.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to watch that in Grand Forks. It's really where you weed them out.
Yep.
You know?
And a lot of people don't realize during the course of a race, cars change, tires change, the track changes, everything changes, and you just got to figure out how it's going to change when it comes to those last couple of laps.
Yeah, as of lately, we've actually been toying with that a lot, me and my dad, to get a car as good at the end as it is at the beginning. I mean, we can go, and we've done this way more times than I've ever wanted to, but we're going, say, like Devil's Lake, 2,000 win, 40 laps. First 17 laps, I think we started 12th. We're up to 4th, getting ready to pass for 3rd, and I spun out, went to the back, 21st. We had it set up to where that car was going to be good through the whole thing, and I was able to go from 21st and drive all the way back to 3rd. So the track is going to change. The drivers are going to change. Everyone else's cars are going to change also. So you really got to play a giant chess game on how your car is going to work and when you want it to work the best. And luckily for us, we've got it figured out to where we're working the best at the end when everyone else seems to be falling off. So.
Yep. Next time you win at River City Speedway, I'll try to get my fat butt all the way down those bleachers and make it to rideoutcar.com victory lane.
Yeah.
Kind of sorry I missed out on last year.
Yeah, like I said, I got out of the car and I was looking around. And I was like, "Where's John?" And then, like everyone was there, and I was like, "Oh, Chad's here."
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too. No offense, Chad, but I was really excited to see John Roberts because that's what I was used to seeing as a kid. Like, yeah, John Roberts, victory lane. I get to talk to him. I was like, Chad's pretty good.
Yeah, now you're making me feel old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't run up and down those bleacher steps. I mean, I almost need oxygen just to get back up there because I'm kind of like you. I prefer a couch.
Yeah.
Or a recliner. Paul, any calls, any questions? We got anybody trying to win those tickets?
That's actually a good question here. Hold on. No, and I got kicked out of the feed here a little bit ago, but I mean, just a lot of comments on there. Amanda, better build a trophy room, Jory. You have a bright future racing ahead of you. There was a few more before that I lost to here, but
all right.
I think it was Elizabeth or somebody was asking if I think said Charlie was going to be getting into go-karts.
Oh yeah. The story with Charlie and go-karts is I feel like she doesn't have any fear.
Mm-hmm.
So like even last night at volleyball, she was climbing on top of literally on top of the jungle gym, on top of the slide, and just like walking. I mean, there was no fear whatsoever. So it's like, well, you could get her in a go-kart, but she's probably just going to run into people because she's not scared of anything.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in like another year or two, we'll probably decide to try and maybe put her in one just to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But as for now, I think she's just too wild.
Yeah, and I'm sure people where they could hot lap. She could maybe jump in the car and hot lap a few laps and then get hooked.
Yeah, we tried it last year with my niece, and we had her all suited up, like ready to go. And when it came time to like swing her foot over into the seat, she just panicked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. That's the fear you kind of want them to have.
Yes, you got to have that respect / fear.
Yeah, you got to have the respect for what you're doing with what you have. And that was probably my biggest problem when I first started racing go-karts because I ran into everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I raced with Stephen Young, actually, and I even ran into him
as
a kid. And I ran into the Shuriks, those guys were so sick of me.
Uh-huh.
By the time it was all said and done, they're like, God, this kid just keeps hitting us. But I was the same way as my daughter is, where just hold it to the floor.
Yep.
And see what happens because you don't know.
And the go-kart racing, it's the start of the future of these race car drivers. Forks Karting Association. I was talking with Donnie Schatz at the late model show before the races, and he told me flat out, he said every dirt track, go-kart track in the country should be modeled after Forks Karting Association because he said hands down that's probably the best dirt track you're ever going to find in the country for go-karts. So it's another good thing to get into. We know all the people at Forks Karting Association. If you're thinking about getting your kid involved with it, go check them out on a Wednesday night because it's some pretty good action. And now our catfishing's done, so I think I'm going to show up there on Wednesday and go check that out. So should be fun. Jory Berg, thanks for coming into the studio.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
I've been looking forward to this for weeks now, and I think it was Amanda that said you got to get Jory on the show, and thanks for the heads up, because I never really talked to you, up until a couple of weeks ago. Just recognized the mustache and kind of went from there. So have a safe trip this weekend going down to the cities.
Thank you.
And looking forward to seeing you at the track again real soon.
Yeah, next week we should be there. Hopefully we'll have our new boxcar apparel. We'll have all that stuff there. I mean, if you guys don't mind me plugging it.
No, we don't mind at all.
Obviously been plugging it all day.
Yeah, well, you see, we're wearing it all here too. So again, go down to your race trailer and find out how you can get some of that apparel. It's good stuff. It's really cool, and we appreciate the hat and the shirt. The hat's going back up on the wall here. And again, have fun this weekend, and thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, again, if you want to win that pair of tickets, go to the River City Speedway tomorrow night. You can text us 701-213-0863 or email us local@gfbestsource.com. Tell us why you think you deserve these tickets, and they'll be waiting for you at roll call. We'll let you know, all right? Also, we want you to become a Podbean Premium subscriber. It's very cheap, $5, cost of a burger. Chance for you to win some great stuff. We got some great giveaways and prizes. You just go to your Play Store, you download Podbean, search GFBS, hit follow, and buy premium, and you are all set. Show today brought to you by Duso Photography. You'll see him roaming around every racetrack around here. And seniors, if you haven't got your senior portraits done yet, you still have time. Bob has a couple openings, but you need to hurry. Also, your family portraits, your business headshots. Just go to DusoPhoto.com to find pricing and information. Or call them up, 213-230-4325. That's 218-230-4325. How about if I try that one more time? 218-230-4325. There you go, DusoPhoto.com. Let's see tomorrow. John Bernstrom back on the show to talk about what's happening with the city of Grand Forks. We want you to like us. We want you to share us. And, we want you to tag us. What was that?
We also have, I think, Kyle Sullivan coming in at 10:30.
Oh, okay. We got a couple of shows tomorrow. Anyway, have yourself a great Thursday. We're Grand Forks' best source, giving Grand Forks an identity again.